Self-Awareness, the Biggest Secret in the Universe by Devansh Agarwal. Let's talk about the foundation of the materialistic world, self-awareness. Self-awareness is what can help you achieve the highest level of existence in this world. Since time immemorial, human beings have been traversing, scouting, and prospecting ways to push forward humanity both in the materialistic and the spiritualistic world. Things that were not even imaginable 100 years ago have been made an everyday reality by humans' determination, knowledge, and action. Self awareness is the substrate of those qualities. Amplify your mind. Let me start by telling you a small story first. One sunny day, there was a fish swimming peacefully in an ocean. She took a small detour, and after swimming continuously for the next 20 minutes, she found herself in a well. There, she met a frog, and they started conversing. The fish told the frog to accompany her so that she can show her the ocean. The frog demanded how big was the ocean, to which the fish replied, "It's enormous." The frog stretched its arm and questioned, "Is it this big?" To which the fish laughed him off and said, "It's much bigger than that." Then the frog asked, "Okay, so it must be as big as this well." To which the fish again dismissed him by saying, "Oh, come on, no, it's bigger than anything you've ever seen in your entire life." The frog didn't budge and said, "It's not possible since there's nothing outside this well." So you see, both the frog and the fish are right from their own standpoints. The frog just needs to open his mind for a moment and just assume that maybe what the fish was saying is perhaps right. Unless he opens his mind to new information like this, he will never be able to discover the ocean and will spend his entire life living in the well. So, what's self awareness? Well, according to Wikipedia, self awareness is the experience of one's own personality or individuality. It is not to be confused with consciousness in the sense of qualia. While consciousness is being aware of one's environment and body and lifestyle, self awareness is the recognition of that awareness itself. You must have noticed that sometimes two people who, even after having the same kind of knowledge and experiences, one of them can outperform the other by a huge margin. Any guesses why is this happening? Doesn't this exist everywhere in every field? Some people can just grasp things quicker than others. Ever wondered what's the reason behind this? Well, that's right. You guessed it. It's self awareness. Some people are simply more aware than others, because of which, even after having the same skill set, one can outdo another. In the Olympics, people from all around the world come and compete, giving their 100%. Each of them has practiced tens of hundreds of times, but during the competition, the person whose self awareness is more takes the gold. Their awareness level is so high that the winners can gather all their attention and focus wandering all around the world to that particular game deciding moment. Why self awareness is important? Everybody in this world has different levels of self awareness. Some have a low and some have a really high level of self awareness. The more your self awareness, the more possibilities you have in life. If one's self awareness is super strong, then his chances of being successful in whatever field he is in grows manifold. One can essentially learn anything faster, better and more efficiently thanks to his awareness. Now comes the question that if self awareness is so important for us, then why no one is talking about it anywhere? Did your school talk about this? Do your parents, family, and friends ever discuss this? Well, the thing is that people aren't aware of awareness only. We need to understand that knowledge is temporary, but the ability to learn something new, that's something way more powerful and effective for you to discover. Everyone is just spouting, pay attention to your studies, be attentive towards your work. But why is no one telling us how exactly can one start paying more attention to things that actually matter? Well, first, it's imperative to understand how distracted one is. The children or the youth of the country have their attention bandwidth occupied in so many different places, which is precisely why they're not able to focus on the things that actually matter. Gathering your attention from 112 places and concentrating it on one place is an art in itself. The one who understands this science can literally do anything in this materialistic world. And once you increase your self awareness and reach a particular level, then there comes a stage where you have the control to focus on anything, anytime, for as long as you wish, whenever, wherever. How cool is that, right? Imagine being in absolute control of your focus abilities. Now it's up to you whether you want to focus on something for a minute, an hour, or even more. If one can have an ability as powerful as this, then will there be anyone left in this world who will not succeed in whatever they are doing? If you can make your focus obey your orders, then no task will be big enough for you and no problem will be problematic enough to stop you. Everything will become possible for a man with the ability to control his focus. That's what makes self awareness so damn important. Now, some of you might be thinking that it must be pretty hard to increase one's self awareness, or one would have to meditate like a priest for hours. That's the best part. It's super easy to do, and one can practice it all day long, wherever you are, whenever you want. Here, I have laid down a simple plan to work on your self awareness by polishing it on three different levels. Now, no one has to work on all the three levels simultaneously. It's up to you to decide which level you want to focus on the more. The number one, body. The first level is the level of your body. The activities of your body have a direct connection to self awareness. If you are a couch potato who likes to sit all day and watch TV, well, then there is no question you're going to have a pretty mediocre level of self awareness. Now, I'm not asking you to be hyperactive all day, but just experience it yourself. Take a day where you are mildly active and then observe your awareness, your thinking ability, and your power of focus and compare it to a day when you were doing nothing but being a burden on this world. You will surely notice the differences for yourselves. No rocket science. Our bodies weren't meant for sedentary lifestyle most of us have today. We need to get our bodies in action. And how to do that? Well, I'm not gonna tell you what you can do or should do because there are literally 1,000 ways to do that. But I can tell you what I do that has helped me a lot. A good start is really important. The start of the day is pretty important as it's gonna decide how the rest of your day is spent. A good start increases the chances of having a good day by a factor of at least 100. There are a ton of things you can do. Some people eat fruit, some drink lukewarm lemon water, and some make the Superman pose as soon as they wake up. I might be one of them. I personally like doing oil pulling. You can Google it and see the various advantages it brings forth, along with improving your digestive tracts, eliminating the laziness factor. It also helps in preventing so many diseases. Most of us have a pretty low awareness level when we wake up in the morning, probably because of sleeping late and tired. This is why this technique can work wonders for those who are seeking to increase their self awareness level sincerely and honestly. This technique works like a detoxifier, which eliminates all the toxins from the body and increases the energy multiple folds. Now that I'm all freshened up, I immediately do a set of push ups, basically at least 30 reps, and some basic stretching. This makes the body even more active and hence more aware. Then I go for a light jog for 20 to 25 minutes or a brisk walk in the park for 40 minutes. Sometimes I prefer doing yoga as well, and occasionally I lift weights too. It changes from time to time. The idea is to try and not to make it monotonous. The aim is to make your body active in whatever way you're comfortable with because morning time is the best time to increase your body's self awareness. If we don't make our bodies active in the morning, then the laziness leaves no stones unturned to make our bodies dull and uninspiring for the rest of the day. Stay active throughout the day. The aim should be to be active throughout the day. One of the other things you can do is to simply use stairs all the time. Stop using lifts totally. It's really easy for those who actually want to change and are committed enough to become the better versions of themselves. They can easily pull out 1,000 tricks like this from the playbook. I also have a habit of doing 8 to 10 sets of push ups throughout the day between my work. For instance, whenever I need to use the washroom, I will do a set of push up. Before having any meals, I do another round. You don't necessarily have to do the same. You can try something else which works for you and something you are comfortable with. For instance, on the spot jog, squats, pull ups, jumping jacks, burpees, whatever you find attractive. The goal is to keep your body physically active throughout the day. So instead of spending a lump sum of 2 to 3 hours in the morning, you can divide it into 5 to 7 sets of 10 minutes each, doing any one of the 112 exercises that don't need any equipment. Now comes the mind. This level is pretty interesting. The mind controls the body, which is what makes it even more substantial to work upon. Currently, our monkey mind jumps from one place to another all the time, depriving us of a laser sharp focus. It has been scientifically proven that our minds are not actually able to multifocus. We can do multi activity like walking and chewing gum, but we can't focus on driving while we are texting someone. We all have seen the example of two kids, one who studies for 8 hours a day and still scoring less than the other kid who just studied for 2 hours a day but is still able to score more. This is the difference. The other kid's self awareness is more than the first one, which is why he can focus more diligently in that limited time frame, while the first kid's focus is distributed in many places, which is why it takes him more time to study the same topics. Batch things up. You should batch your work instead of trying to do all of them together. People who try to do that go crazy and give up very easily. Once your awareness increases, then you won't just be able to put your focus on one thing, you will also be able to take out that focus and put it at someplace else. Some people get so mixed up in their work that they can't stop thinking about it. Even when they are with their families, their minds keep on wandering about their work or any other thing for that matter. Putting your focus on your work is one thing, And removing that focus is a totally different thing. You and you alone should be in charge of the switch, when to turn it on, and more importantly, when to turn it off. People talk about increasing the concentration level, but once your concentration level reaches its peak, then nobody taught us how to bring it back, which is also equally important. So, now what's the solution to this predicament? Is there a way by which we can put our minds where we want, and more importantly, for only as long as it's required? Well, surely, there's always a way with me. Just keep breathing. Our breath has interlaced our mind and our body in a pretty fascinating way. One can use the breath as a tool to control and calm our mind. Our mind is actually a wild beast, and to control something as powerful as the mind, you need a leash or something to control it. Sometimes our minds behave like wild monkeys jumping from one place to another. You may think about your work at one moment, then suddenly you start thinking about your family, your children's future, your own past, and God knows what else. So, to keep it under all control, you need some kind of a tool, and this is where your breath comes into the picture. Before you do anything substantial, just take a deep breath. Want to give a presentation in front of the board members? Take a deep breath. Going for a run? Take a deep breath. Taking that leap of faith? Take a deep breath. Confused about what to choose? Take a deep breath before choosing. Finally asking her out? Well, definitely take a deep breath, buddy. Once you do this, all your concentration and focus, which were distributed and in various places, gets concentrated into a single place, making you act full throttle. Is there anything rocket science about this? Well, it is literally as easy as it gets. The other permutation of this tool is regulating your breaths. Whenever we get nervous, excited, or stressed out, our breaths become irregular, which is why our heartbeat becomes uneven, which further aggravates our emotions, and the whole loop keeps on repeating. Our breath looks somewhat like this. Well, I don't know if you got that, but the basic aim was to say that our breathing pattern becomes uneven. So, whenever you find yourself in such a situation, just start taking breaths at a regular pace. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You can even count it if you want and then see the magic. Practice it today. Tools like these help us control the most powerful thing in the world, which is our human mind. You see, all these talks are actually crap unless you actually put them into practice. You can do various other things to keep reminding yourself of all this stuff because you're going to forget it after a week or so. One can paste posters, make tattoos, wear bands, use perfumes, even put a reminder on his mobile saying, "Be aware." Just like a constant and subtle nudge to make you aware of awareness. These simple things might sound silly and frivolous at first, but once you start putting them into action, then you can actually witness your awareness level going up. Every successful person is using some kind of a tool that is making them do all the wonderful things they're doing. So you have to figure out which tools you can use for your own situation. Once your awareness level reaches a particular stage, then you will have the power to control your mind, your body, and even your thoughts. You will be able to choose thoughts you want to embrace and ignore the thoughts that trouble you. You will only eat while eating, walk while walking, and play while playing, making yourself fully alive and aware in the present moment. Now, the final part is the soul. This is the highest level, the level of the soul or the spirit. If you want to increase your self awareness at this level, then there is only one path that leads to this, which is none other than meditation. All the works related to the mind and body have to be done outside. But if you have to work on your soul, then you have to work on the inside. You have to close your eyes and meditate. You don't have to be, directly setting a goal of meditating for an hour or so. Even 5 to 10 minutes is a great way to get started. The power one feels through meditation is beyond anything one would have ever experienced. And don't take my words for it, there already are countless studies conducted on meditation that will validate all the claims. To sum it all up, I would say if you want to increase your awareness level temporarily, then work at the level of your body. This doesn't mean that it's not important, it's very important to work at your bodily level. But if you want to push your boundaries even further on a more permanent basis, then work at the level of your mind. And if you want to go beyond everything and break all the barriers, if you want to reach the phase of being limitless and boundaryless, then you have to work at the level of your soul. Working on the level of the soul can truly make you fearless and will let you experience the real powers of being infinite. Becoming aware of everything happening both inside and outside you is probably the biggest favor you can do for yourself. Thank you very much.